They're not well researched. He just reads whatever latest like tech news article is, the first one he sees on Reddit. Upvoted r/all top updated article that day. So true, Gam. You know the whole chat was spamming 100 fire emoji when Gam was spitting that. Oh wait, no, sorry, they weren't. There's 3 people in chat. Melatonin. Damn, that's heavy stuff, bro.
And honestly, even though I've been a long-time fan of Mutahar, I'm not gonna let that bias cloud very real criticism.
I should have guessed. Should have guessed, really, shouldn't I? It's not illegal. The law isn't in force. Did you think about this? Did you consider this? Oh, we got this as well. There's a Lolcowlive clip related to Mutahar.
It sucks if he was exaggerating his qualifications, which you know the guy better than anybody on this panel. Is he a real engineer? Does he work as an engineer? Have you seen that? I don't know.
Should I call him?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right.
No one else will platform him, probably. Should get his side of the story.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for due diligence in reporting. Absolutely.
Anyone will platform him. Anyone will platform him. Mutahar doesn't want to show up.
Absolutely.
Let me call him. Okay, that's weird. Does he not have this number anymore?
Too bad we can't get him on the Discord panel.
Yeah. Like I saw people saying, "Get him." I'm not here to get him.
Hey, we're on stream. Just so you know, I basically want to know, what is this drama about? You lied about being an engineer and stuff.
Can't hear.
Dude, he's so mad. Dude, why don't you just like, call me off stream? Bro, because you're getting farmed. Jesus, I died. You're getting farmed. You're getting farmed, bro.
I could call you off stream.
Keemstar's making content out of you, buddy.
I just thought maybe, like, if it's...
Hold on. I gotta take care of some stuff, so I didn't know I was on stream.
So you want me to call you off stream?
Yeah, later. I'm just in the middle of something.
All right, sounds good.
All right, well.
If you want to go call him too, by the way, I mean, I'll entertain. I got a lot to say on this topic.
He doesn't want to talk to me. Like, you know,
okay.
He wants me to call him later because he's in the middle of something. So
yeah, I'm sure. Very busy guy. Very busy guy. Doing a lot of coding, a lot of engineering, I fear. Doing a lot of engineering and day trading. Really figure out the markets. Should we watch the Gamma video on this? There's a Gamma video on Mutahar. Should we really fill out the Mutahar content here?
We got a pretty serious controversy. One that, alleges me of some illegal action.
What do Mutahar and Carl Jost
Oh
have
my
in common?
god, I
mean, besides the fact that they worked on a now very questionable charity fraud expose in regards to the completionist. Well, what they both have in common.
Yeah, what do Mutahar... Okay.
Is that they're both complete frauds. Recently, a YouTuber by the name Nicandros dropped this 38-minute long video that essentially goes over Mutahar's contradictions over the last 10 years, talking about job titles he may have never actually had.
Speaking out of an engineer, like if I wasn't a computer science engineer, I wouldn't speak about Elon being an idiot. But as an engineer, yeah, I'm going to call him an idiot because he does do idiotic statements.
I mean, this is a pretty big deal. Mutahar, especially in the...
This is why Hush doesn't take you serious? What, because I put up a Gamma video and started doing a racist Hispanic impression. I don't want to again.
Drama commentary scene is somebody that people have looked up to with a lot of respect. And this guy has spearheaded a lot of projects when it comes to some very questionable individuals. People like Mama Max, people like the Completionist, Keffels. And all this time, he's been leveraging this position of authority that he's built for himself to make himself far more credible in these videos, in these projects. Which begs the question, just how honest has Mutahar been throughout any of these works?
Gamma got one of those voices that just puts you to sleep, hasn't he? You just don't want to listen to anything this guy's saying, ever. You know, this guy starts talking like, I don't want to listen. I want to hear it.
Okay, so at least a computer science degree.
I thought when I got into university for a while and I dropped out like a semester in because I was like, okay, no.
Oh, he dropped out after a semester.
Like, I'm a dropout myself. I've never finished university.
Annoying co-worker voice. Holy fuck. Isn't there some shit about Gamma being arrested for street racing as well? Isn't this guy...
Be in this
am I making that up, or isn't that a thing?
You need to go to university, okay?
You need to go to university to be an engineer. But Mutahar is a dropout. He has no degree.
I mean, this is the guy who has made hundreds of thousands, millions of views, making videos talking about cybersecurity, large data breaches, how to do virtual machines so that you can keep yourself protected against viruses, virus investigations, deep web investigations.
If he posts his arrest records, post the arrest records, I'll believe you're that cool. I don't believe it until you demonstrate that, though.
To be clear, I'm no one to deny Mutahar's skills or talents or his knowledge. Baby Mutahar is somebody who's incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to all these things. However, most people would be less inclined to believe somebody, especially somebody like Mutahar.
You want a race, puto? Okay.
If they were more transparent about what skills, what credentials, and what experience they actually have. Now, if you're anything like me, you've probably noticed that these criticisms have actually been a long time coming from Mutahar. People have been catching on to Mutahar's whole act for quite a long time now. It's probably been a couple of years in the making. I'm going to show you a couple of comments that I managed to find from last year, but this isn't something that just came out of nowhere. This type of concern about Mutahar essentially being ignorant to a lot of conversations is not new. But thankfully, we got somebody like Nicandros who meticulously crafted this video to point out just how dubious Mutahar really is.
In 2020, Mutahar claimed
So it just starts up a channel where you just take all of Gamma's videos and you just redub it with like a really racist Cholo accent.
be an exceptionally successful day trader.
Now, for those of you who don't know, one of my side hobbies turned basic, general second profession of mine is day trading, swing trading, whatever you want to call it. I like to sit in the mornings, sip my coffee, go on the NASDAQ, see what I can look pre-market, buy, sell, and be done by, 11 or something, and call it a day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's something that I've been doing for almost a year, give a couple months, and it's definitely a very, it's a fun part of my lifestyle. I'm a very mathy guy. I do a lot of calculations in my head. I lose money, but I generally have an 80-85% success rate, and that's just the nature of this stuff.
Something that I never really liked about Mutahar are kind of these humble brags that he does to try to make himself seem like the most important person in the room. It's really, really interesting in a very, very odd way, if you know what I mean. I'm sure some of you guys are going to remember that time during the Max drop.
This is an okay point. This is a good point.
Said that he would pay.
We'll
for
give it to Gamma
on
this one.
Then I'll gladly put money towards Camden's defamation trial.
Yeah, if it is fake.
I thought you said it's fine with saying it's allegedly.
And I'll say this is a longtime fan of Mutahar, but 85% success rate when trading. I don't know about you, but that number sounds incredibly unrealistic. But hey, what do I know? I'm a complete.
Yeah, it's just not true. Prove it. Literally prove it. You're fucking lying. You don't have an 85% success rate in trades.
Moron. But at least I'm willing to admit it. Maybe some of you guys will know a little bit more and will be able to tune me in on just exactly how insane this number actually is. Also, something I really want to focus on is just how much Mutahar.
Yeah, also the percentage success rate means nothing as well. You could have made what's an 85%? You could have made what? I don't really trades. Let's say you made fucking 40 trades. And each time you make $5 and you have an 85% success rate, you've made fuck all. You've made nothing.
Thing that's been in the back of my mind for ever. How does somebody who works a 9-to-5 or has a busy schedule day trading or any of these other things that he claims to do also have the energy and the time to create YouTube videos? Don't get me wrong, YouTube video creation is not that laborious depending on what type of niche you're in. Creating commentary videos like this one is relatively low effort, but it's still relatively time consuming depending on how much research or how much effort you actually engage in. I know that sounds incredibly unemployed and terminally online, and that's because it is. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush about it. I'm not gonna posture about it. It straight up is. Let me recycle this clip for you guys real quick.
Okay. Listen, fair enough. Fair enough, Gamma. It's on 1.25, which is making Gamma even more annoying, I'm not gonna lie. So let's try it on normal speed.
Could it be possible that Mutahar has been faking having a job all along? Doing daily uploads while being a CEO 9 to 5 is a pretty busy schedule, as Ethan said. When he was on the Unsubscribed podcast, Mutahar made sure to let everyone know he works 9 to 5 and that he's a very serious businessman.
Legitimately still have a 9 to 5.
Dude, even making the sloppiest of videos, even making the most garbage 9 to 10 minute video takes a pretty decent amount of time.
Please.
I mean, it's here Dumpy where you can make the most low effort commentary videos ever, which again, not to discredit the guy at all. You're not gonna take less than an hour making a video. Because you have to research a topic, you have to be interested in the topic, you kind of have to, ruminate about the topic in the back.
His avatar, Robbie. The steering wheel and the fucking gold chain.
Run a little bit to then give good commentary, and then you have to edit it down. At best, Dumpy's videos take anywhere between maybe 20 minutes to an hour to make. Somebody who's working a 9 to 5, unless they're managing their time really well. Somebody with a busy, somebody who's in a relationship, is working a 9 to 5, day trading, and doing all of these other things. I don't see how they would have the time to, be uploading. And Mutahar, keep in mind, Mutahar, just for reference, makes videos.
Hello, guys.
that are typically over 20 minutes long at a time and have to be at least relatively well researched so that he can actually give good commentary.
They're not
because
they're not well researched. See, now Gamma's fucking up. Now this video sucks. They're not well researched. He just reads whatever latest like tech news article is, the first one he sees on Reddit, upvoted r/all top updated article that day, and just fucking reads that and goes, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever the fuck he says. He's like, oh, we got a crazy situation here. Well, basically, so someone hacked the mainframe. This is like that sort of shit in like the most dumb, retard way possible, where it's like clear he's patching terms together that he doesn't fully understand. Constant malapropisms. They're not well researched. They're not well made. They're terrible.
You know, he has to be aware of what's going on. Talk about it in the first place. He has to be doing a level of research, then he has to edit it down. There's no way he's doing all of these in like a plain 25-minute sitting. Most of his videos take at least an hour to 2 hours to make. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
He has this insane work ethic, but he's also curious about how Destiny can get so many things done.
I noticed that you do like a lot of canvassing, like you actually go out of your way. You've launched your own like podcast with like other people, the bridges, and it's like...
Dude, Nicandrus is really just hitting everything here. Every question that you could ask. This guy works this many hours. YouTube is also incredibly time-consuming. You have the, like, this guy, again, must be incredibly persistent and have an insane amount of perseverance, right? Or he's lying. Somebody who has that type of, like, work ethic, that type of workflow, where they're literally just working and grinding every single hour of the day, putting an effort to become consistent in every aspect of their lives, especially while they're, like, constantly fatigued, they wouldn't have to ask this question. They would just know. It would just click. They would not have to ask a question like that. Now, look, some of my long-term Muta fans would remember that Mutahar has talked about
so true, Gamma. You know the whole chat was spamming 100, fire emoji, when Gamma was spitting that. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, they weren't. There's 3 people in chat. One of them's... and they're all Aiden Discord users.
They would just know. It would just click. They would not have to ask a question like that. Now, look, some of my long-term Muta fans would remember that Mutahar has talked about his health problems and his chronic fatigue.
I'm such an asshole to Gamma.
Able to sleep for quite a long time. Some of you might even remember the time when he said that he would go to sleep in VR Minecraft because it genuinely made him sleep well after a long period of being unable to sleep properly.
I bought a VR kit just for this. Like, even if it's not for other games, and I know plenty of other VR games exist, Minecraft and the solace it brings is enough for me to consider VR to be a timely purchase, because sleeping for 7 days underneath VR helped cure me a lot of my sleep paralysis.
Oh, dude, I forgot about this video. I forgot about this fucking video.
Other games, and I know plenty of other VR games exist. Minecraft and the solace it brings is enough for me to consider VR to be a timely purchase, because sleeping for 7 days underneath VR helped cure me a lot of my sleep paralysis. You know, I've tried things like melatonin, all this kind of nonsense, and it works for a lot of people. I'm sorry to even call it nonsense, but it works for a lot of people. For me, it doesn't. And as somebody that suffers through sleep paralysis on a constant basis, and if you don't know what sleep paralysis is, I'll give you a quick example. It's when you're sleeping and you can't move. You're awake. You're in that weird stage in between. You can't move your arms and your legs, and you feel like there's things around you. For me, I always feel like my neck is going to get snapped. To not experience that for a fucking week, I would drop $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 into an even more expensive kit just so I could sleep like I normally did.
Yeah, melatonin, really bring out the big guns. Clearly, really worked with your doctor on that problem. Melatonin, damn, that's heavy stuff, bro.
To not experience that for a fucking week, I would drop $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 into an even more expensive kit just so I could sleep like I normally did. Because not only did I sleep well, if you've noticed in my last couple of videos, the sun is up. That's because I'm not recording at 4 in the morning anymore when I wake up or things like that. I've slept at
Dude, falling asleep with Minecraft open on this VR headset has literally, he's fixed his life. It's fixed his life. He's not a degenerate anymore. He's not a degenerate anymore. He's not staying up all night looking at high school girl hentai.
Normal hours. I wake up at normal hours. I have more of my day back. And honestly,
all it took was sleeping in the double Minecraft bed.
Most important thing about it is
Kuihman, can I put my Minecraft bed next to yours in VR? You woo.
Okay. Thank you for the $10. Did you appreciate it?
I feel better.
As I've said before, Mutahar must be like one of the most persistent individuals on YouTube to be uploading as frequently as he does and as consistently as he does, while also maintaining a full-time job throughout most of his YouTube lifespan, or so he claimed. I mean, something fishy is definitely going on here. I don't want to make any claims, but I mean, if you're anything like me, or if you're just a typical human being, I know a lot of the times when you're tired, when you come home from work, the last thing you want to do is, you know, keep working. Because if you do YouTube, even as a hobby, there is a level of work that goes into creating YouTube videos. And I know, that sounds like really out of touch, like, oh my god, streaming is the hardest job, but I mean, let's be real here. It does take a little bit of effort. Hobbies can be difficult, they can be tiring, and sometimes after working for maybe 8 to 10 hours a day, the last thing you want to do when you get home is even play a video game sometimes, because that's just what happens when you're a busy adult. And I also have to say, the most disappointing part about
so
this
true,
is
man.
that Mutahar,
yeah, you ever just be an adult or want to kick back and play some video games?
will probably never respond to any of this. He'll probably never take any of this on the chin, which is incredibly disappointing and disheartening given the fact that he built a pretty sizable chunk of his audience off of talking about drama and current events and giving his commentary when it comes to dramatic situations such as Mama Max. If you're going to give and dish out criticism for somebody being a fraud, then perhaps you should be capable of taking it as well.
Some Ordinary Gamers has just responded to commentary and questions regarding his claims of engineering credentials. Wait, what am I talking about? You don't see anything, do you? He hasn't posted a video, he hasn't made a tweet. Exactly. You don't see anything. Like any good professional engineer, Mutahar found a technical solution. His response was to blacklist the word engineer and perhaps others from his comment sections.
Very true.
This is very easily confirmed by account switching or logging out. Let's leave a perfectly innocuous comment on his most recent video and include the word engineer, logged in as my Nightmare Club channel. Now let me switch back to harmful opinions. Let's sort by new to look at it. It is not there no matter how many times I refresh the comment section. I also left some other comments including the word engineer on other accounts. Perhaps someone could engineer a more efficient method, I wrote. You'll notice it's a highlighted comment because I'm looking at it with a direct link. I can see it when I'm logged into the account that made the comment, but if I follow that link while not logged in or logged into another account, it doesn't work. To be thorough, I tested the exact comments I used on his channel on other channels, and this does not occur. It is absolutely not YouTube's basic filter. So Mutahar has responded, and his response was to censor you.
I mean, it's just incredibly disappointing, especially when you take into account that Mutahar was the guy to go after the completionist for not being transparent with his audience about what he was doing with the funds for charity for several years. It's really backwards, it's really pathetic, and honestly, even though I've been a long-time fan of Mutahar, I'm not gonna let that bias cloud very real criticism.
I should have guessed. Should have guessed, really, shouldn't I?
And very real concerns about Mutahar essentially putting himself up in a pedestal and then leveraging that for as much internet clout and as much internet fame as possible. It's really disappointing, it's really sad to see, and remember, not everybody that you will idolize on the internet is going to necessarily be this incredible individual that you, well, idolize him for. That's everything I got for today. Thanks for watching.
Wow. So there was some drama on Twitter about this video or something here. So it got 15k likes, this tweet. Some trans person posting a screenshot of the thumbnail. Liar, fraud, Indian. And Gamma's here saying hi. And lots of people being kind of racist here. But Gamma buckled. He follows up here with, I have to make it clear, the video ain't racist. I just thought Indian in big red letters would be funny and work an algo. I'm not being racist, guys. I promise. I promise. Trans horde. I promise. Horde of angry trans people. I'm not racist. Hey, you know I'm brown too, Holmes. Hey, you know I'm brown too, Holmes. Eh? Can I be okay? Okay. What else have I got? Is there any other new Mutahar stuff? Oh, I know what his subreddit's saying. You not allowing posts about it or something? Or is there just no posts? Let's see. Oh, wait, no, it's different. Dude, why is fucking Hengist posting Dickers videos on the Mutahar subreddit under the title CS graduate gives his informed opinion on the engineer drama. Dickers informed opinion. Thank you. Let's read this Reddit thread. Let's see the cope here. Being real, Muta has stated many times he's not a cybersecurity expert. He's some fat Indian dude that enjoys tech. Saying Muta is a fraud is like, okay, well, that's not the claim. It's not about being a cybersecurity expert. He claims to be numerous different types of engineer. Saying Muta is a fraud is like saying all the people that make videos on handheld gaming PCs are frauds because they don't have a full understanding of what Proton compatibility is, how to suddenly run commands, or even understand what debloat means on the Windows 11. This has no relevance. Zero relevance. I can dance circles around most of these handheld PC channels in terms of PC knowledge, but that doesn't mean these creators are frauds or fakes. Dude is creating videos, hating someone that cares about security, reports nefarious behavior on the internet to authorities, and talks about butt plugs and video games as a side hobby from his real job. People live sad lives. You're just a hater. You're just a hater. I know you proved that this guy's like a complete fucking liar, but you're just a hater, actually. You're actually really just a hater. In an old dark web video, he said he was an expert pen tester. Okay, so an old video was dug up where he said that. I'm not here to defend anyone, but I've watched him for 7+ years now. I don't think I've ever heard him mention that. If he did, though, he's very much gone back on that statement. And honestly, taking a step back from experience here, you can get a full cybersecurity degree online through Coursera. It's really not that hard to get. I'm working on it right now. You don't need any understanding of Linux, coding, hacking, etc. Most of the course teach you out playbooks and SIEMs and how to follow guides to do said job. After getting those certificates or taking the next step towards a degree, you're technically a cybersecurity professional. Again, Coursera offers cybersecurity courses from Google, IBM Tech for $61 a month. Nobody brought it up, but something I remember mentioning in a video I used to watch all the time. If I can find it, I'll link it. I just mentioned because of your first sentence.
Submit. Well, let me tell you that right now. I'm a junior pen tester and software developer. I write things for fun, but also to prove my points. One of my life goals are to host. So back in Canada,
I saw that one.
I was basically finishing up my, high school diploma and everything. And at the time, I worked a little computer programming job. I worked as a pen tester, you know what I mean? Like, I got into the whole thing early. I had a couple connections. And I worked around basically doing that job for a little while. Pen testing, basically, for those people who don't know what it is penetration testing for computers. Basically, what happened is people would hire you, and you'd hack into their networks or systems to see how secure they really were, write up a report, and make sure that the people who, were in the situation, like the people who are hired to actually do their job, know how to do the job and know how to secure their connections better, see what loopholes they have, because, it's a pretty important job, and I was good at it. I made a fair amount of money at it, and if I still did that job, shit, I'd be, a lot more richer than I would be, at any point in time. But bottom line is, I used to work a job like that out, and that was one of the careers that I had. And I worked a programming job, and finishing up high school, I was starting to enter a bout of depression, right? So, at that point, what happened was I met an individual named Zahid, who, was the guy I made videos with on this channel at the very beginning of it, really. And by meeting him, I actually met him way back in 2009, my 9th grade year. We never talked much until, the 12th grade came by. And around the time, I don't really have many friends to hang out with. The same group of friends, are still there. Daniel, Zod, and all those people. And I said, hey, want to go try making videos together? Because way back in the day, I used to watch a lot of...
Okay. I get the message. He's not a fraud. He's a computer science cybersecurity engineer whose trusted takes more. I studied video science engineering with Mutahar. He's top of the class. He's legit. Move on. The thing is, though, that he dropped out of college after one semester, which is why the upload is saying he's a fraud. You can't exactly be an engineer if you don't get your degree, and that's coming from somebody who's studying electrical engineering at the moment. As being sarcastic. Okay. We know. Imagine dedicating your whole account to hating on Mutahar. That's a new level of sad. Yeah, sad, hateful creep Nicandros, whose true name I will not be saying. It's too powerful to be spoken. I didn't watch this. The whole thing is an anti-Muta account? Lol. Out of 13 videos, 5 are solely dedicated to Mutahar. Wow. Boo-hoo. Trying to frame him as a fraud. It's not framed as a fraud. He is a fraud. These motherfuckers are so desperate to make Mutahar a lolcow. Okay, but he's a legit fraud, and that is illegal in Canada, where I assume he lives. Not really. The law isn't in force. It's not illegal. The law isn't in force. Did you think about this? Did you consider this? Did you think about this? And a lot of companies put the title of computer engineer on a lot of jobs that are not. So you don't really need a college degree to be one, as most companies are looking for experience rather than some fancy piece of paper. Not really, the law isn't enforced. In Ontario, the province he's in, it absolutely is, and is incredibly strict about it. If it's so incredibly strict, care to explain why so many large companies operating in the Ontario region are willing to hire people under positions like software engineer do not require any license from the PEO? Well, could you show that? You haven't shown that. What is the ICE equivalent of Canada? Can someone deport this Indian scammer to him, please? I swear you MF sound like this. Okay. The fact that he's claiming himself as a software engineer and then never ever providing proof absolutely warrants criticism. He's in Canada, specifically Ontario, a province where they're very strict about this. If he wants to call himself an engineer, he's legally required to prove he has both his degree and working hours. It's the exact same way for tons of professions: physicians, nurses, teachers, social workers, psychotherapists, pharmacists, etc. Edit, and most importantly, a license. If he doesn't have his license, which is impossible to get without the above qualifications, he's not technically an engineer. Edit 2, it appears that no one with his name has ever had an engineer's license in Ontario. Click individual, search by his last name. Edit 3, lol, you guys understand a guy whose content you like can still fuck things up. I've supplied you with every single tool you need to find out if Mutahar is actually an engineer, and it appears he's not one. Stop acting pissed off, because I gave you the quantifiable evidence to show Mutahar was lying about being an engineer. I couldn't care less if Mutahar crashed and burns or if he excels the most famous YouTuber. I don't care either way. What I do care about is people lying about their credentials, especially when it's a highly regulated field. So he is a scammer? Good to know. I'm not saying he's a scammer, but I'm saying he appears to be lying about being an engineer. I just find it interesting how one snarky YouTuber, Agent N, has been branded. Andros has been branded a snarker. You're a snarker. Part of the snark left. Trying to tear down incel libs like Mutahar. Snarker. He's a snarky YouTuber. Bro, we need to get past this. We need the cultural death of snarkism. Okay. I'm so confused by this comment. Your first half is pro-Mutahar, but you replied and agreed with the comment pointing out Mutahar is a liar, then appear to disagree with it. Because you're calling him a scammer on those presumptions, you won't admit it, but you implied it. This is lying about his qualifications, which he clearly is. You can look up lists of engineers in Ontario. It's a public list. It's a protected profession. You say he was a scammer, not me. Funny how you insist explaining your tone like we're all deaf or something. It's wild how you'll think there's more to what I'm saying. I never watched the whole video. I came across it, looked at the channel, saw it's basically a Mutahar hate channel, and ignored it. That being said, engineer is a protected profession in Ontario, the province Mutahar resides in. It's literally illegal in said province to claim you're a member of a protected profession when you aren't. Because Mutahar is in Ontario, and because it's a protected profession, that means any member of the public can look up who is licensed. Mutahar is not, and appears to have never been a licensed engineer. In Ontario, again, any person on this planet with access to the internet can look this up themselves. These lists are public. If he claims he's an engineer, when anyone, literally anyone on the planet, can look up if anyone with his name has an engineering license in Ontario, it appears no one with his name has ever held an engineering license of any kind issued by Ontario's governing body for engineers. If he's claiming he's an engineer, he's literally breaking the law. How the fuck do you guys think I'm trying to say anything different than that is wild? It's funny how you insist on explaining your tone like we're all deaf or something. They are giving me think I'm saying something I'm not. It's true. This isn't anything. Stop supporting grifters. Ugh. All of this is basically nothing in terms of criticism. It's more from the perspective of someone who doesn't know how bad inflated titles and other bullshit is. It also ignores the fact that people are more specialized than the very generic titles tend to let on. Cybersecurity expert can mean anything from social engineer to a certified pen tester, which also has sub-disciplines, to someone who runs through STIG tickets, STIG tickets, and sometimes applies fixes to stay in compliance at the DoD to make sure the company's products are compliant. DBH, this piece does have maybe some valid criticisms, but the majority of Mutah's content is basically unrelated to his work. He does get, but the point is he doesn't do the work, he doesn't actually do the fucking work. He does get some things that seem obvious to some wrong, but anecdotally, I have experience with a lot of cybersecurity professionals as a software developer myself. As a software developer myself, who just do not understand things like reducing attack surfaces, that VPNs and proxies are not inherently a security measure on their own, etc. To give an idea, I have seen security teams sign off on signing secrets, I think PII, big production passwords, into Git because they hosted their own GitLab instance behind a VPN. I guess we don't care about social engineering or physical attacks. TLDR, Muta might play up for the theater, but he's far from egregious in terms of the so-called made men of tech. No, he is. It's not like he's lying about his titles. Those are very likely his actual job descriptions at the jobs he held. How do you get that from the video? How could you possibly get that from the video? How could that... Dude, he has this one job that he claims he got through connections as a pen tester when he was like 18. Or like before that even. It was in like high school or some shit. And then he drops out. And then he goes to fucking film college for a vocational 2-year film degree. Not degree, diploma. Diploma. He did not do a bunch of cybersecurity jobs. He didn't do a bunch of coding jobs. He didn't do a bunch of this shit. It's just not true. It doesn't make any sense with the timeline. In between the trips to fucking Japan to film videos in the suicide forest, are you crazy? Shut up, man. Come on, let Mutahar explain it. Let's hear it from Mutahar. Let's hear the timeline. How did this all happen? Overall, this video is just a very strange, targeted hit piece on a YouTuber that is overall decent content creator. Mutahar never claims to give professional advice and uses his own expertise to critique and analyze things that he has some subject matter knowledge on. It really does feel like the OP just has some intense grudge against Mutahar and wants to bring him down. These vague and weak accusations are the only thing he could find against him. Even through his previous history of videos, he's been specifically targeting Mutahar for the last 10 months now, almost like an obsession. It really reminds me of the sheer number of racist comments you can find under each of Mutahar's videos. How all of them are now joyfully infesting the comments, saying even more racist shit against Mutahar now that this video has come out. All the snarkers, man. Snark left. They're even lashing out with racist insults against anyone that tries to defend Mutahar, which I've personally experienced. Even the broken clock is right twice a day. I won't give attention to a grifter, even when he has some solid points. Okay. You want Mutahar to flash his work ID, home address, ship capers, or talks himself just to prove his innocence to your armchair immigration officers. Yes! Yes, I am a self-appointed ICE officer. And Mutahar, I need your papers. I am a self-appointed internet ICE officer. And Mutahar, you have been found suspicious. Okay? Suspicious to say the least. Papers, please. Okay. All you need to present is a diploma. There's just like no response to critique here, just saying, don't like it, don't watch. Where have we heard that one before? Someone accuses you of being a total fucking lying hack. Don't like it, don't watch. Don't like it, don't watch. Where have you heard that one before? Okay, it's just people fighting in the comments. Awesome stuff, love to see it. Hahaha. Not a troll question, but do people really think there aren't some valid criticisms within the video? I understand if you disagree with the majority of the information, but do you think all the video's points are invalid? Now you're questioning his job. Tomorrow you're questioning his Canadian citizenship and try to prove whether he's an illegal Indian or not. It's a snowball effect. No, I'm doing that today. No, I'm accusing Mutahar of being an illegal immigrant now. Slippery slope fallacy. That's a slippery slope fallacy. Excellent things happening in the SomeOrdinaryGamers Reddit. Fuck, man. Fuck. Funny stuff. Very funny stuff. Okay. Everyone accusing it of being racist. I've been a fan since 2014, and I agree there are very good criticisms. It's not like I want to see his downfall, I just hate what I'm seeing. If you can clear everything up, then awesome. But honestly, I don't think I see it. Right, yeah, that's the reasonable response. It's like, I mean, there could be something that explains this. But this looks bad. That should be the response. I don't see how you can come away with anything else. I didn't make any judgments about you. I only asked what exactly what valid criticisms you were referring to, as in the video in question basically only had the one point. The Mutahar appeared to exaggerate his qualifications. Exaggerate, not fabricate. No, pretty much, no, fabricate, I think I would say. I would say fabricate. Mind you, as he definitely has worked in those fields. Evidence, source, which even the video acknowledges. No, it shows one job. And even if you haven't gotten an engineering degree, as long as your job title at some point was something in the time like software engineer or cybersecurity engineer, I think that's fine to use that term for yourself. Especially since a lot of cybersecurity specialists start with only a basic engineering degree, then specialize in cybersecurity while working on the field through training at work. Arguing about the pedantics of that is pointless. As for the point about racism, I never said you were racist. I said that a lot of his detractors are openly racist people online. Okay, and? Which I've had the displeasure of personally interacting with. You haven't given me any reason to assume you're racist. But I just want to point out a lot of the hate towards him was definitely rooted in a heavy dose of racism. No. People hate him and then they're racist to him because they don't like him. Well, there might be some people being racist, just racist. Me personally, I make occasionally racially referencing comments as a humorous jab because I don't like the guy on a personal level because of who he is, separate to his race. That's me personally, though. I can only speak for me personally. As for his qualifications, I think it's safe to say no one knows his real qualifications nor level of skill. I mean, he does, and he put it on his LinkedIn. The video certainly makes some exaggerated claims about Mutah's skills, strongly implying that he's been peddling disinformation online. And yet, at no point Mutah has said anything knowingly false. I mean, he's claimed to be an engineer when he's not. Especially when you consider the hundreds of videos talking about topics related to software, cybersecurity, and online privacy. I don't think anyone can find any fault in what he has said. With the exception of one sponsored video. I haven't watched that video, so I can't comment on the kind of claims he's made in there. But I do want to point out that the video was marked and as sponsored in the description. Dude! That's actually fucking illegal! That is illegal! That's another illegal thing you've pointed out here, and you're saying there's only one criticism. Retard. Fucking idiot. Total fucking idiot. It's not perfectly possible. His story makes no sense. It is not internally consistent. Dude. Oh my god. The cope is just crazy. The cope is insane. Jesus, man. Terrible stuff.